I have made reference in a couple of other videos about a group that I had been participating in at our local Episcopal Church called Going Deeper. The group was called Going Deeper. And the idea was to, have kind of a small group of folks, kind of a mini Sangha, if you will, who were interested in exploring the question of non-dual consciousness, not just exploring it in an intellectual way, but also reflecting upon our own experiences, doing some formal meditation, and sharing readings and that sort of thing. You have perhaps also heard me mention the fact that I had the opportunity to teach a class at that church on the Lotus Sutra. Go figure, here in the Bible Belt, here in the middle of North Carolina in the United States. But anyway, now I have an opportunity to participate in and frankly do a little bit of a leadership role in the context of an actual formal meditation group at this church for not only members of the congregation, but anybody else in the community who wants to attend. I'll give a little snippet as to how I'm characterizing this group as it will be described in the church newsletter, and also give a fairly substantial reading of a meditation instruction by a Theravadan Buddhist, Joseph Goldstein. I'll also, toward the end, try to characterize a little bit what I understand to be some of the differences between the Theravadan Vipassana type meditation approach and that of the Zen Buddhists. Before I begin, let me give a couple of disclaimers. One is that I don't meditate on a daily basis, and so in that sense, maybe I'm a poor role model for this kind of video or activity here in my local community. But I did at one time, back again in 1979, when I had my sort of spiritual awakening, and I found that meditation, in my way of interpreting it, helped me get in touch with prajna, or wisdom, that sense of non-dual consciousness that I've spoken of as leading to a sense of compassion toward others as a result of our interconnectedness. And the other thing I want to say by way of preamble is that the increasing popularity of meditation as kind of a mental self-help technique, if you will, outside the context of Buddhism, that's being criticized by some. David Brazier is a good example. He's sort of a generic Pure Land Buddhist teacher who I have a lot of respect for, who wants to make the point that, Buddhism is a religion and the meditation is only a part of it. That said, there are benefits to meditation, independent of any particular belief system. And of course, I'll probably be highlighting those. I will be highlighting those for this group because I'm not presenting it from a Buddhist perspective. That said, I'll be highlighting some of the benefits, which I think are real, that can accrue to a person from a secular perspective or from a more generic spiritual perspective in practicing a meditation kind of activity on a regular basis. So anyhow, here's how I'm describing the group to the church members there. I'm saying that this weekly meditation group is going to be starting in October. This is the year 2017, by the way, and I won't mention the specific church, but I'm saying that meditation has enhanced human potential for many centuries. It has become increasingly popular in recent years as the spiritual, psychological, and physical well-being associated with it has become better known. Beginning in October, on Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. in the small chapel of our parish hall at the such-and-so church, I'm talking then about offering this half-hour silent meditation group open to all, regardless of religious or spiritual orientation. Such meditation, sometimes referred to as contemplative prayer, which it definitely has been, and I think I referenced that in another video where I talked about the desert fathers and mothers in Egypt who engaged in this kind of prayer. And of course, all the mystics essentially have, or at least many of them, engaged in some form of what we could call meditation or contemplative prayer. So I'm saying such meditation, sometimes referred to as contemplative prayer, can assist in getting in touch with deeper insights into self and that which is beyond self, as well as result in other benefits as noted below. Sessions will end with a loving kindness recitation, and I'll end this video also with a loving kindness recitation, which those of you within the Buddhist tradition know as metta. In essence, meditation or contemplative prayer involves learning to exercise greater attention flexibility. The technique involves taking a comfortable and alert posture and either emptying the mind of thought or filling it with chosen thoughts. A common approach is to direct attention to the physical sensations of breathing in and breathing out. Then, whenever you become lost in preoccupation with the surface chatter of the mind, or when some other sensation or experience becomes so strong that you find it difficult to remain attentive to the breath, which is inevitable, simply note this and gently, without judgment, reestablish your attention on the breath. And for that little snippet, I want to give credit to Stephen Levine, who back in the day when I did engage in meditation practice, his book called A Gradual Awakening was just wonderful as a sort of primer on technique for meditation as well as how to frame it within a broader Buddhist perspective. Studies in the field of neuroscience have shown that meditation affects brain regions involved in self-awareness, controlling thought processes, and regulating emotions. Fadel Zaiden, PhD, a researcher at Wake Forest University, has found that as a result of these effects, quote, meditation alters the subjective experience of pain, close quote. And by the way, he has a TED Talk out there, and this may, frankly, have a positive influence on some people's decision to attend this group, since he is a North Carolina guy in terms of his university affiliation. Other studies have shown that the part of the brain's cerebral cortex responsible for decision-making, attention, and memory actually thickens with regular practice of meditation. From a spiritual perspective, meditation or contemplative prayer can help us get a glimpse of the reality that exists beyond our more narrow, egoistic perspective. It can, in effect, bring us into closer union with the divine. Although meditation requires practice, it doesn't take much time to experience benefits. Perhaps those who attend the weekly session will want to make it a brief daily activity in their lives, thus leading to feelings of being more relaxed, alert, and aware. Okay, now what I want to do is read some meditation instructions, excerpted from Insight Meditation, The Practice of Freedom by Joseph Goldstein. Sit comfortably with your back straight but not stiff or tense. Gently close your eyes and feel the sensations of the breath as the air passes the nostril or upper lip. The sensations of the in-breath appear simply and naturally. Notice how the out-breath appears. Or you might choose to feel the movement of your chest or abdomen as the breath enters and leaves your body. Wherever you choose to follow the sensations of breathing, whether the in and out of the nostrils or the movement of the chest or abdomen, train your awareness to connect clearly with the first moment of the beginning in-breath. Then sustain the attention for the duration of just that one incoming breath. Connect again at the beginning of the out-breath and sustain your attention till the end. It is important to not become overly ambitious. We all have the capacity to feel one breath completely, but if we try to do more than that, if we have the idea that we are going to be mindful of our breathing for half an hour, then that is much too much. To sustain unbroken attention for that amount of time is far beyond the capacity of our mind, and so we quickly become discouraged. Connect and sustain for just one breath, and then one more. In this way, you can work well within your capacity, and your mind will begin to concentrate simply and easily. At times, other objects will arise: physical sensations, thoughts, images, emotions. Notice how all these appearances arise and change in the open awareness of mind. Often we become distracted, lost in the display of experience, no longer mindful. As soon as you remember, come back to the simple state of awareness. It can be helpful in the beginning to focus primarily, although not exclusively, on the breath. Focusing in this way helps stabilize attention, keeping us mindful and alert. Bringing the mind back to a primary object like the breath takes a certain quality of effort, and that effort builds energy. It is like doing a repetitive exercise to develop muscular strength. You keep doing it and the body gets stronger. Coming back to the primary object is mental exercise. We come back to the breath again and again, and slowly the mind grows stronger and more stable. Our level of energy rises. Then, when we open to a more choiceless awareness, we perceive things in a more refined and powerful way. If at times you feel constriction or strain in the practice, it helps to settle back and open the field of awareness. Leave the breath for a while and simply notice, in turn, whatever arises at the 6 sense doors, the 5 physical senses in the mind. Or you can rest in an open, natural awareness, paying attention only to sounds, appearing and disappearing. Widening the focus of attention in this way helps the mind come to balance and spaciousness. You can also use the techniques of mental noting to strengthen mindful awareness. The art of mental noting as a tool of meditation requires practice and experimentation. Labeling objects of experience as they arise supports mindfulness in many different ways. Noting should be done very softly, like a whisper in the mind, but with enough precision and accuracy so that it connects directly with the object. For example, you might label each breath, silently saying in, out, or rising, falling. In addition, you may also note every other appearance that arises in meditation. When thoughts arise, note thinking. If physical sensations become predominant, note pressure, vibration, tension, tingling, or whatever it might be. If sounds or images come into the foreground, note hearing or seeing. Be patient in learning to use this tool of practice. Sometimes people note too loudly and it overshadows the experience. Some people try too hard, becoming tight and tense with the effort. Let the note float down on the object, like a butterfly landing on a flower, or let it float up with the object, like a bubble rising. Be light, be soft, have fun. Investigate the technique for yourself. If at times you find that noting interferes too much or is too slow for the rapidity of change, stop labeling for a while. See what happens. Understand that it is a tool and learn for yourself how to best use it. Observe whether it helps keep a sustained attention or not. See for yourself how the noting functions. Be flexible and enjoy the exploration. So that is something that I will be sharing with people who come to this group and who may not have had any previous instruction or exposure to more formal meditation. And again, that can be used as a description without any particular reference to Buddhism, which I'm not going to necessarily get into at all within this meditation group. But for y'all who are watching this video, undoubtedly almost all of whom are Buddhists, you would say, well, what is the difference? I said this. What is the difference between the Theravada or Vipassana type of meditation and the type of meditation that Zen Buddhists do? And I had the opportunity a few years ago actually to put that question to a friend of mine who I consider to be very bright, who has had significant exposure to formal Zen meditation activities through sesshins and the like. And he helped me understand that, and some of you may disagree, in which case feel free to comment, but that the form of meditation, as I just described in this blurb, utilized within the Vipassana approach, is designed to help make improvements in ourselves. In other words, to help us to develop more refined and positive personality characteristics, if you will. I can't get into those because I'm not qualified and knowledgeable about what the various mental states are that are sought within that tradition. At one time, I listened to a lot of podcasts by Gil Fronsdal and others at the Insight Meditation Center in California. I think it's Redwood, California, and those are online. And also, I think Goldstein comes from one on the East Coast. And you can find these also in the Pali teachings within Buddhism. But again, the idea is that, as I understand it, is that you're looking to improve yourself in the direction of greater insight, greater equanimity, greater peace of mind, and ultimately greater enlightenment, if you will. The contrast there with Zen, as I understand it, which again, this is just my crude understanding, is that the Zen Buddhist in doing meditation is not looking to achieve anything, is not looking to gain anything, is not looking to enhance his or her mental state in any way. It ties in with what I think Dogen said, the great founder of Soto Zen Buddhism, when he talks about there being an equivalency between sitting, in other words, doing meditation, sitting in meditation, and being Buddha. In other words, that the practice is the same as the realization, which is a pretty profound statement. But frankly, I like the Zen notion, which is within, of course, the Mahayana tradition, because it resonates to me with the Pure Land School, the Jodo Shinshu in particular, which is my lineage, where, again, we don't say the Nembutsu to achieve anything. It's simply a way of expressing gratitude. But in any case, I want to end this with a loving kindness meditation, which is what I'll be doing within this group that I was talking about that will be held at the church. And maybe as I do it in the context of things going on in the world right now, within the past week or two, just some terrible things in terms of, Hurricane Harvey in Texas here in the United States, creating tremendous flooding through the intensive rains, and now Irma coming up through Florida, while through the various islands in the Caribbean, and then on up into Florida, and on and up into Georgia. And of course, the 8-point whatever earthquake down in Mexico, just very terrible in terms of loss of life and destruction of property. So maybe we can think about those people if you're listening to this, as you listen along with me as I recite this loving kindness recitation. May I be free from enmity and danger. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be happy. May my relatives and friends and fellow meditators be free from enmity and danger, be free from mental suffering, be free from physical suffering. May they be happy. Whatever living beings that exist, weak or strong, without exception, long or big or medium-sized, short, small or bulky, those visible or not visible, and those dwelling near or far, may all beings be happy. Let loving thoughts for all the world be maintained boundlessly, above, below, and all around, unchecked, without hate or enmity. In the entire universe, whatever beings that move on earth, on water, or in air, may they be free from suffering and enmity, from physical pain and danger. May they be happy. Namo Metta Butch.